And where's Godzilla?
AT field, max power!
What are you, stupid?
It's time to show the world what you can do.
Hello everybody, welcome to Dyname, the Daikaiju and Anime podcast, where today we have me, T, and we have Nick.
Hello, hello.
And today we're going to be talking about a sort of kaiju movie. I think it's debatable whether this is a kaiju movie or not. But we are going to be talking about the 2025 newest Jurassic film, Jurassic World Rebirth. We went and saw this, I believe, a week or two ago at the theater. It was a great time. And before we get into the new movie, I thought it'd be good if we just go through our history with like the Jurassic franchise and all that. I was born after, I think the first two films came out. I think the second one came out before I was born. So I grew up with like the DVDs. These were some of the first movies my parents introduced me to when they saw my love of dinosaurs. I thought the first movie was a masterpiece. I thought the second one was just as good. The third one made me fall in love with the Spinosaurus. And growing up, getting into high school and college, later things, seeing the Jurassic World movies, well, I didn't think they were as good. They were still definitely a treat. And the Jurassic franchise has always been something like the dino-loving kid in me is like held close to my heart. Like I'll always love these movies. I'll always go back to them. Even Dominion, which a lot of people consider the worst, I still enjoy that movie. I can still throw it on and have a good time. So for me, I will admit, if it's a Jurassic film, I'm almost guaranteed to have a good time with it just because the kid in me can't not love these. But how were you introduced to these movies? Because for me, it was, again, like my parents showed them to me. How was it for you?
For me, it was 1993. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was brought to the theater to watch a dinosaur movie that turned out to be far more than my small mind was meant to see at such a young age. I did, I believe, with my brother. We went on separate occasions. Something had occurred, so my brother and I saw it at different times. But we were brought, I think it was my dad, it was either my dad or my mom. We went and saw it in theater, and it was an amazing time. Loved the toys, loved the design of the dinosaurs. It was fascinating, and it got one of my friends into paleontology, and it was really just a cool experience.
After Jaws, as a kid, I always considered Jurassic Park to like be my second favorite movie. Like those two, and the fact Spielberg made them both kind of like blew my mind as a kid. I always thought he was like the best director just because of that alone. And the video games, like, I mean, go on Steam, I have like probably like dozens of hours in Jurassic World Evolution, and I just got that a little while ago. I remember playing the arcade game at Craig's Cruisers all the time, just pumping quarters into that thing. That was a blast.
Oh yeah, I think everything that spawned from Jurassic Park, just from that first film, from Michael Crichton's book to Spielberg's movie, it's all winning.
And it's hard to understate how big of an impact it had, especially when it comes to like special effects and such. Like we always hear it doesn't look as good as Jurassic Park. It doesn't look as good as that first movie. And when you go back to that first movie, there's some shots that don't hold up, but the majority of them really do. They do a great job mixing the CG with the animatronics, and like it does trick your brain. It really does.
Oh yeah, Industrial Light and Magic went all out and proved what they were capable of with that film, with the original Jurassic Park.
And then 6 years later, they did The Phantom Menace.
Yes. So they've done other things, but Jurassic Park, I'm sure, was a good Kickstarter for them to be doing more.
Yeah, they did Star Wars, but I think like the old Star Wars movies, but Jurassic Park, I think, was one of their first big forays into like the 3D CGI animation. But that's enough talking about the old movies. We're here to talk about Rebirth. Let's get this podcast rebirthed right now and almost restart with the story is dinosaurs are all dead. They're all living only on the equator. The biggest 3 species are located on one island. Those 3 species' blood, if extracted, could provide a life-saving medicine that would save millions of lives and prevent heart disease around the world. Our team of experts, Zora, the basically mercenary, Duncan, the captain, and Loomis, the absolutely goated museum professor, paleontologist, my bad. They're all going to be going to the island to get the samples and get out. Also, family there. Wrong place, wrong time. I mean, that really is it for the family. They really are just in the wrong place. Spoiler-free thoughts on the new film. So basically, just a sentence or two. Nothing too crazy. If someone just asked you what you thought of the movie, what do you think you'd tell them? If you didn't, if they were gauging interest to see if they wanted to go see it.
A surprisingly human experience on an island full of dinosaurs.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I think, like, my parents have asked me about it, because there's something about Jurassic that really draws people. Like, I know Superman's out right now, and that's making money, and Fantastic Four is actually kind of flopping this as of last weekend. It definitely took a big dip. But Jurassic, this franchise just brings people in, and when anyone's asked me about the new one, I basically told them this feels more Jurassic Park than Jurassic World in all of the best of ways. I'm not saying it's not a Jurassic World movie, because it is, and it does have the Jurassic World elements, but it feels like a Jurassic Park film, if that makes sense.
It does, and I agree with you. I
think it's fair to say we both liked the movie. If you don't mind just giving me your, out of 10, what you'd give it.
Oh boy, out of 10? And is this in general or relative to the franchise as a whole?
We'll just say in general right now, just as a movie. Just as a movie.
As a movie, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10.
I was thinking the same thing, 8.5. It's for what it is, it's pretty perfect. You get exactly what you paid for, but there is a lot introduced into this movie, including a lot of lore implications. We saw some prehistoric animals we'd never seen before, and a lot about this Jurassic World has changed. Now, this is where we're going to be getting into spoilers. Rest of the podcast is going to be spoiler-filled. If you want to not be spoiled, go watch the movie and come back and resume at this point. But we're going to dive into that stuff now. In the movie, we see some fishermen catching a Dunkleosteus, and we see a megalodon jaw, in the background of a scene. Is it fair to say or imply that those creatures are, just alive in the ocean now? And if yes, where would they have even come from?
I feel like they came from the new island. Wait, we're in the spoiler section?
Yep,
right?
Yep.
All right, good.
Yep. Okay.
Just had to double check. I feel like they came from the island that we're talking about. Oh my gosh, why am I having a brain?
I don't even know what it's called.
If my keyboard is loud, I apologize.
No, it's awesome.
Just hammering it to figure out what that name, because the island's got a crazy cool name.
Isle St. Hubert.
Oh, okay. Isle St.
Hubert.
Interesting. So Isle St. Hubert, I think I think all of these kind of freaks and these oddities that we haven't seen at any of the other parks, I think, they all came from Isle St. Hubert.
Just the idea of where they could go, just literally looking at Dunkleosteus in the Megalodon jaw. Like, we're not even looking at the other stuff yet. What they could do with that implication is so... There's so many possibilities. We could get an underwater Jurassic movie. We could get, like, a literal Jurassic Jaws. And they could, it'd be a good, not some asylum thing. There's so many interesting prehistoric animals, too, like Anomalocaris and just the orthocones, like the giant squids with the cones, like the big shells. I would love to see a, like, Jurassic Seas movie. Now, do you think, like, there's any chance of something like that happening? Or do you think this is kind of just cool prehistoric animals, look at them?
I think most of it is cool prehistoric animals, look at them, and kind of sets up. I think a lot of it sets up for later in the movie that we are going to get some new stuff. We're seeing new stuff right off the bat.
That actually, I didn't even think about it like that. There's some nice progression of you see some new stuff dead in the ocean, then you see some new stuff alive in the ocean, then you see some new stuff alive on land.
Pretty much.
Now, the big change that this movie has when it comes to the lore is, according to this movie, most of the dinosaurs have gone extinct and or are dying and have to move to the equator of the Earth. That is the only place where most of the dinosaurs are able to survive. So some are probably living in Africa, some are probably in Central America. I believe they said, like, these zones people can't cross through, and then obviously there's some on the tropical islands. Does this mean Blue and Rexy are dead? Is this a good change? Because I'm not even, like, mad at it, but it does feel a little weird when Fallen Kingdom ended with the dinosaurs are out, and Dominion kind of ended with, like, they're out. Look at them. Like, they're interacting with the native animals. Like, they're with the Triceratops is with the elephants, and the Mosasaurs with the whales. Does it feel kind of like they just undid all that for no reason? You could have kept the dinosaurs everywhere on Earth and still done Jurassic World Rebirth. They didn't need to do that.
They didn't need to, but I think they were going for the decently hard reset. I don't think that the statements that they make necessarily means that some of our favorites, like Blue or Rexy, are gone. Spoiler for Dominion. At the end of Dominion, we see that that all of the T-Rexes, Buck, Doe, and Rexy, are all together at the Biosyn facility,
sanctuary.
The sanctuary.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to say that the climate there, that microclimate that facility had, wouldn't support the dinosaurs. It also had a stable food supply, so I don't think we need to worry about Rexy. I also don't think we need to worry about Blue. I kind of ascribe to the theory, if you don't see it, it hasn't happened for movies. So because we have no evidence that Blue and Rexy are gone, I would surmise that they still exist. But I think it's a good hard reset for the rest of the world.
That's what it feels like. And I've heard some people say, the writer couldn't come up with a new story, but to me it does feel like we want to reset, but also, like, I mean, love it or hate it, there's been a lot of good lore setup in all of this Jurassic World stuff, and it would be a shame to throw all of that away with, like, just a complete reboot. So I think it was smart to, like, keep it in the same timeline, but reboot it in a way. I understand why people don't like it. Like, I do get, we never really got the dinosaurs, like, on Earth movie. But I guess that's just not what Jurassic is going to provide for us. Like, we got to get over that.
I agree.
Speaking of the dinosaurs and all of them, we got quite a few new ones in this movie. We got Titanosaurus, which kind of looks like the Godzilla monster because he's got the orange little sails. We got the Distortus Rex, which is a freak. Our Belugasaurus, as we like to call him. We got the Mutodons, which is essentially like a wyvern dragon velociraptor. We got these little amphibian guys hanging out. I know they're not dinosaurs, but they were really cool. We got a new mosasaur, and we got a Quetzalcoatlus redesign. Forgive me if I did not pronounce that right, but whole bunch of new dinosaurs, whole bunch of old ones looking new. Did you have any favorites out of the cast of creatures in this movie that, just design-wise, you really appreciated?
I really appreciated the Titanosaurs. I thought that they were spectacular to watch, and it harkened back to when I saw the first one and the Brachiosaurus. That first scene of seeing one of these, titans walking the earth again, and the crazy reaction that you get from our human characters, from Dr. Sattler and Dr. Grant, seeing them for the first time alive. When there's a scene where all the Titanosaurs are waking up, and they're rolling onto their feet, and they're getting up, and it's just the sheer majesty of it. Coupled with our human character, Dr. Loomis, his excitement as he runs over and gets a chance to touch one was just so heartwarming, and another really human scene. He's dreamed of this, just like with Dr. Sattler and Dr. Grant. They're awestruck, and they show it really well.
I literally got goosebumps. I have goosebumps right now just hearing that, because I think out of every Jurassic film, I think Rebirth did the sauropod scene the best. I think not only does it look amazing with their whip-like tails, almost hugging each other, I loved that. I thought that was such a cool visual, just the tails constantly moving in the air. But you pair the visual with the excitement, like you said, that Dr. Loomis had, and it's this is what these sauropod scenes are for. It is the awe. It is the wonder, and this movie knew that. And yes, it's a cliche. They've done it in every film, but I'd like to think this movie did it the best. I know everyone says it, but I felt like a kid watching that scene. I really felt that joy and that wonder, seeing something alive that big that really did live at some point. Moving on from the Titanosaurs, I think we might as well just go through all the new guys. We'll start with the 3 that they needed for their medicine, their heart treatment. What did you think of the new Mosasaurus? He looks a lot different than the one we had in Jurassic World previously.
Well, so that ties into some theories that I have that I think we discussed a little bit before the podcast regarding that Mosasaurus. I don't think that's the same Mosasaurus we've been seeing in all the films.
I would agree with you. It's too different.
I think that I think it was tagged at some point, because they make references to, tracking its tag and such, but that could just mean that all of the, just like we saw with the Indominus Rex, all of the dinosaurs could be tagged somehow, which Isle St. Hubert dinosaurs could be tagged as well, accordingly. I also have a feeling that Mosasaur isn't the one we've been seeing in the other films, and that's why it looks so freakishly different.
I also get the impression that, dinosaurs are not... No one cares. That's, kind of something they set up. People don't really care. And I can see in the first, year after Dominion, people cared. There were people out there, they wanted to know things. They went and tagged them. It makes sense some people would go out to research them. Or maybe, InGen did at some point, and the companies bought the data off InGen. But it makes sense that it would have happened, and now it's almost like no one cares. You even hear when the Mosasaur attacks the family out there, they're like, there's 500 boats out here and it attacks ours. Who cares? What were the odds? It's not our fault. It's no one, just like InGen themselves, no one's understanding the greater risks at play with all this stuff.
Right.
I thought the new Mosasaur was pretty solid, I'm not going to lie. I thought the scene where they had to get the blood from him, that was awesome. It reminded me of Jaws, and like that just was so cool. We were in a new Jurassic Park movie. They're on a boat chasing a mosasaur to try to shoot it, and they're on the they're out on the bridge and they're falling off, and they got to hang on to each other. That was awesome. And the new mosasaur, he's a beast. He looks like a giant. I know this is dumb, but he's a giant sea monster. I loved the brown coloration on him. Felt a little more natural than the blue of the Jurassic World one. And I thought his scenes were fantastic. And seeing him try to keep getting the boat until it got into the shallows, that was great. And since we're talking about the Mosasaurus, I think it's time to bring up my favorite. Actually, we'll save him for after. We'll do the 3 first. The third one they needed for the coagulant was the Quetzalcoatlus.
Can I add something real quick about the Mosasaurus?
Oh, please do, please do.
There are Instagram posts and confirmations that the Mosasaurus that we saw washed up, because there's the picture of the Mosasaur on the beach.
Yep.
That is not the Mosasaur from Jurassic World.
Or Rebirth.
So that one is swimming around, and the Rebirth one is a different Mosasaur. So there are multiple out there.
That kind of like makes me go back to what we were talking about earlier. Do we have just Jurassic Oceans at this point? Like,
I think we're getting towards Jurassic Ocean.
Because if we have 3 mosasaurs, one might have died, but we had 3. We had a Megalodon, a Dunkleosteus.
Yep. We're starting to get some wild shit.
We know due to InGen being InGen, a lot of these animals find ways to breed. Just whether it's self-replication or gender changing, that life finds a way. And it will. But moving on to the last one of the 3 that the humans needed for their coagulant. We have the Quetzalcoatlus, the big pterosaur. He's in Jurassic World Dominion. This is a redesign of that. What did you think of the star pterosaur in this movie?
Thing's horrifying.
Agreed.
Definitely lives up to everything that Dr. Loomis says about it. It's basically just it's a living F-16 fighter jet. Wants nothing more than to just destroy everything around it. I like its head design. I love the new design of its beak versus what we saw in 2022 with Jurassic Park 3, I believe.
Oh, I thought he was in Dominion.
Was it in Dominion?
Because he attacks the plane when they're coming.
Oh yeah, that was Dominion. I can't remember what the one from, because I thought there was one from Jurassic Park 3.
That's the Pteranodon cave.
Right, you're right. Yeah, so the Quetzalcoatlus design in this one is far crazier. I can understand why it didn't make it to any of the Jurassic Park islands.
Oh, yeah. I think I do prefer the Dominion one a little bit. I think I just like the straighter beak and kind of like the fuzz that one had in the more muted colors. However, that is not me saying that the Rebirth design is bad at all. I think it's fantastic. I love the blue stripes on it. And the scene with the Quets made me realize they are not going for quantity, they are going for quality with the kills in this movie. It is not hard to tell who is going to survive this movie. If you've seen a lot of movies before, you can kind of tell who's going to get eaten. And it almost feels like they're just there to get eaten. But let's be honest, that's what we paid a ticket to see. We want to see dinosaurs eat people. And when the Quets swallowed that guy, and he's coughing the guy back out and swallow him again and chokes him back up like a real bird does. I mean, my mouth was just jaw on the floor. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
It was pretty rough. That really sucked.
I think that was one of the best of the kills in the movies. All of them. It was a little shocking and a little surprise to it, and it was just so graphic without the need for any gore. Because, honestly, that is, horrifying. You're not even just getting like eaten alive, you're getting like coughed up and re-swallowed and like rearranged, and it can't chew you either. You're like a ugh. Now
you're going in alive.
I think it's fair to say they did a great job with the Quets in this as well. Moving on from that, we did get a fan favorite returning in this movie. We got two, actually. We got the Raptors and a T-Rex. Now, the Raptors, I really liked their new design. They looked a lot like Jurassic Park 3 with like a little stripe and some tiny quills. We don't really see much of them, though. I like their appearance. We'll get more into that later. But do you have any thoughts on like just the short bit we had with the Raptors?
They came in and got to show their creep factor again. They're smart, they're agile, they're quiet. I feel
Very
like they
quiet.
had what little we saw of them, they brought to the table what they have throughout the films consistently. And then some shit went down.
Yeah, and we will get to that. Trust me, we will get right to that because I have some thoughts on that. But we also, like I said, we also got the T-Rex. We got the infamous river raft chase scene from the first Jurassic Park book. It was amazing to finally see that on screen. Something a little separate, the music used in that scene, I think, is one of the best pieces of music in the entire Jurassic franchise. I've listened to it every single day for 2 weeks now. Like, I think that song is phenomenal. It's 8 minutes of audio. I mean, it's an 8-minute song that really makes you feel like you need to move out of this thing's way. You need to go, run, paddle, swim. And they did a great job with the scene too. I understand the Rex doesn't get anybody, but we do see he had a lot of food. He seems more interested than predatory. And for me, watching the T-Rex throw the boat around and just slowly walk after the people, I've never had a dinosaur scene made me feel more insignificant as a human being. This thing didn't want to hunt. It wasn't trying its hardest. It's giving like 10% effort. And yet this family has to do everything they can to just not get killed. It really did strike me as that. And I thought it was actually a really interesting scene when you look at it as the Rex is not trying. He's bored. He's just having fun, kind of.
Yep, I agree. And I love that we have names for all of them. So this one's name was Ember. And Ember, had just eaten a Parasaurolophus. He's full, he's fat, he doesn't want to do anything, but he's like, what's that boat in my territory? Is that a chew toy? I'm gonna go play with it.
And as we stated when we saw the movie, if anyone is upset about the raft not popping, it is an InGen raft. They probably made it able to withstand some stuff.
Stuff is made of Nokia phones. InGen just builds their stuff out of Nokia phones because it survives unbelievable beatings.
It gets a little ridiculous, but it's the kind of thing where it's like, it's fine. If you can't enjoy that scene because people don't get eaten or something like that, it's like, I don't know what to tell you. I thought it was a great scene. I understand the criticisms, but I like Ember too. I think he's great. He kind of reminds me of like an old Jurassic Park toy with like his stripes and brighter colors. And he is huge. He's probably the biggest Rex we've ever seen.
He is pretty big, but also Gareth Edwards, as always, has a way of kind of presenting things as larger than scale for making impact and grandeur. Mm-hmm. I don't think that plays in later on. I think there's something else later in the film.
We will get to that.
But we will.
Get to that.
But yeah, Ember's huge. And I think that might also be part of the reason why Ember is on Isla St. Hubert. Rexy is a decent size. She's pretty big. We've seen her, throughout so much of the franchise. Ember's bigger. And I think it's good that he's on Isla St. Hubert.
I would pay literally any amount of money to see Ember fight the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus. I think that would be the most glorious of dino battles.
That would be a bit of a throwdown, that's for sure.
Now, I've also, another thing with this Isle St. Hubert, it is an island for the freaks, as we've said. It's for the worst of the worst. And you could even argue maybe this Rex is too big. Maybe he really can't even run or anything. Maybe he's a little too big for his own bone structure, and that would kind of explain his slower movements too. And that would explain why he likes to be by the water to help support him. Just some thoughts. Don't take that as solid or anything. Just some thoughts on why he's so big, maybe. Now, the Raptors and Rex are not the only returning dinosaur. We do get the greatest, the best, the coolest dinosaur of all time, the Spinosaurus! And we got 1, 2, nope, not 3, nope, not 4. We got 5 different Spinosaurs in this movie, teaming up with the Mosasaur. Nick, I'm not going to steal the whole show here, though, but what did you think of, the best?
I liked it better that the best was relegated to the task of being a hunting dog for a bigger dinosaur.
No.
Look, listen, I don't share your enthusiasm for the Spinosaurus as much.
It's okay.
I thought that the design, the way they went with it, I think it made more sense. This island, some of the things that Dr. Henry Wu says throughout the series, especially regarding, especially from Jurassic World, talking about the dinosaurs they wanted to show off, more teeth, different, how these dinosaurs don't resemble what they used to in the wild. And it's almost like the Spinosaur kind of does, and that's why it's not included in Jurassic, in the parks. Mm-hmm. It's too much like it was. It's not fun to look at. It's a lumpy, aquatic, low-key predator. It's not some big, flashy creature. And I think the Spinosaurus that we got from Jurassic Park 3 is the freak.
Yeah. Either way, it wasn't on the list, so we can argue another time why they even have Spinosaurs, but I thought I was so worried going into this movie, because I love Jurassic Park 3, I love that movie, and I was so worried, are they going to explain these? Are we going to see the Jurassic Park 3 design? What's going on with this? Are we erasing that movie? I'm happy to say that, while they don't directly address it, with everything Nick kind of just said, they do explain kind of why these look different. And I thought their scenes were fantastic. It was a great way to introduce the island as this is not, pardon the pun, this is not a walk in the park. This place is dangerous. It does not matter how prepared you think you are probably going to get killed here. And I like that Dr. Loomis, he's not shy about that. They all know, the chances of survival are slim. And what better way to show that off than you get this giant mosasaur bringing them to the island, and the first thing they meet, the Spinosaur, gets 2 people off the team. 2 people killed. I thought that was, as a fan of the Spinosaurus and the limited amount of kills in this movie, that made me so happy.
It is true. They do give it a disproportionate number. Then again, a friend of ours that we're going to talk about later does pick off. He gets a triple. He gets a hat trick.
Yeah. No, he gets a, what would we call it? Triple kill or
he does get a triple.
He gets a squad.
He gets a squad kill.
But yeah, as someone who does love the Spino a lot and has a lot of admiration for the Jurassic Park versions, I think these ones get 2 thumbs up in my book. I loved how they all had different patterns to them. You could really tell on their sails, some had vertical stripes, some had horizontal stripes. I thought that was fantastic. And I do have to shout out the Spinosaur beach scene. I thought that was one of the best kills in the whole franchise, I'll say it. And I think why it works so good is it takes There's a scene in Jurassic Park 3 where the camera turns and there's a pterodactyl right in front of the camera, and you don't know it's there until it moves. You're like, oh, that was an animal. In this movie, the camera pans and there's a beach with someone getting some things out of the water. The Spinosaur rolls over in the background and you realize it was there. You had no idea it was there.
Oh yeah, that sucker was hiding so well, it was ridiculous.
Then you see him sneak into the water and he comes around and then boom, there's a geyser of blood and he's attacking the girl, and I think it works so well because you're anticipating it. You see just enough to know bad things are happening. You see blood, you see her screaming, you see the sail, but you don't get to see its head. You don't see what's missing. You don't see what it's ripped off of her. And then before we could see anything, the camera cuts to our other characters running to help. By the time they're there, they're both out in the ocean. I just, for someone who was just praying for some Spinosaur goodness, that more than delivered. And I'm sorry for gushing about the Spinosaur, but I love him. I love him.
It's fine. I'll gush about Belugasaurus later.
Belugasaurus will be after our first mutant we're introduced to in this movie. Technically, we do meet the Belugasaurus first. We do meet him first, but we're going to talk about the Mutodons. The weird raptor dragon guys. Bird thing, raptor, pterodactyl hybrid. I will admit I did not like them before I saw the movie. Now that I saw the movie, they're okay. I give them a thumb up. The scene where they attack the raptors, I think I'm going to start with that right now. I don't like that scene. Because it's the only scene we get with the raptors, and you can argue if it's a fight or not. It's not really a fight, but these aren't monsters, they're animals. So this is kind of what fights are sometimes. But the fact that the raptor just got instantly taken out by the Mutodon, it feels like Jurassic Park 3. It feels like the Spino killing the Rex. It feels like it's supposed to make you upset in a way. We're setting up the new big bad, make way. It caused a lot of fan backlash back then, and I've seen some now. What do you think about the Mutodons, and specifically, them besting the raptors in one scene?
I think it's exactly what you said. It is trying to evoke an emotion, and it succeeds. We love I think it's kind of Gareth Edwards' way of saying we've seen enough raptors throughout the Jurassic World franchise. It's time to just distance ourselves a little. So you have a scene with these two raptors, and they're sneaking up, and they're being all stealthy, and then one just gets straight bodied by a Mutodon. And it's literally getting carried out of the franchise.
It really does. It really does.
Took it away. Yep, we've had 4 movies now where the raptors have been pivotal to everything. Bye.
I mean, honestly, let's just go through them quick. The first movie, the raptors are the main villains essentially. The second movie, the raptors are a big part of it. They're not the main. That's the Rex's movie.
Don't go into the long grass.
See, that's from the second movie. That is. Jurassic Park 3 is definitely split Spinos and Raptor for sure.
Yep.
Jurassic World blue. Jurassic World 2
and the
blue.
fact with Jurassic World, the Indominus Rex is part raptor.
Yup. And then the Indoraptor and the sequel. We've had raptors.
Indoraptor.
We've had raptors. And then, obviously Blue and the Pyroraptor show up in Dominion. So
too much raptor.
It does feel like the T-Rex and the raptor were almost in this movie by obligation. The T-Rex, they had a scene to give them, but the raptor, they didn't.
We've had enough raptor. They're tired of raptor. We're all tired of raptor.
Is Mutodon that different from raptor, though?
I mean, it looks different. You even said something that I really liked in the theater. Is did we need a dragon? It looks like a dragon, straight up. So, and I think, yeah, it's wild. It shows, it cues us up for Belugosaurus. It shows us that we're going away from the dinosaurs and we're really going to get into the freaks. And Mutadon is a good opener for our freakish boy.
For our grand finale.
Our grand freak.
I will say again, like, I didn't love the Mutadons from, like, you know, I saw them in the promotional material. I didn't love them at first, and I did not think they were going to fly. When that one flew off with the raptor, that surprise, I didn't think they were, I thought they were going to be more like gliders. They kind of like use their wings to just kind of glide a little bit, or like help them like maybe get off the ground a bit. I did not expect them to take off like that. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was straight up horrifying. Like, oh, it's strong enough a flyer to pick up a raptor and just leave with it.
Yeah, I mean, they don't seem as smart as the raptors to me. They seemed like they were struggling. I don't want to say struggling, but they were not as aware of things when they were in the gas station as I felt the raptors were in the kitchen.
Oh, I agree with you. I don't think they were as smart, and I think that was a good choice for them not to be as intelligent.
And moving on from the Mutadons, it's time. The one and the only. The D-Rex? No. The Distortus Rex? No. You know what his name is. It's the Belugosaurus. He's got that big old beluga head. We will not call him anything else for the rest of the podcast.
Poor thing suffering from encephaly, and we just call it Belugosaurus.
Now, I was excited for this thing before we saw the movie. I was pretty hyped. This guy, the Belugosaurus, is what elevates this into a kaiju movie, you could argue. I like to say the last part of this movie goes full Godzilla mode. We have explosions, we have vehicles being destroyed, we have a giant reptile. Maybe more than one giant reptile. But I thought his whole final scene with the Belugosaurus just destroying things and chasing people, I thought that was great. And when he got the human villain, that was so satisfying. I can't remember the last time I've watched a big modern movie where I actually hated the villain. I didn't root for him. He didn't have some sympathetic side. When he took the medicine, when he took the blood and he ran, and we knew the Belugosaurus was out, I was like, get that. Like, seriously, I wanted that so bad. And then when he steps on the car and stops him, it is the equal feelings of satisfaction and horror that only the villain getting killed can provide.
I agree. The moment we saw that guy, we knew he was scum, and he did nothing to prove us otherwise. And then he got what he deserved.
Yeah, I thought that was a great kill also. When they based this creature on the Rancor and the Xenomorph and stuff, I was curious about that. And after seeing the movie, it's not based on the Rancor. It's based on the Rancor from Return of the Jedi. This is not, like, it does not feel like the ones in the new Boba Fett shows or whatever. It feels like the old one, where its signature thing is it grabs stuff. Because the D-Rex just, that's all it does. It just keeps picking things. Oh, the Belugosaurus, I'm sorry. That's all he does. He just keeps grabbing things with his hands. And I love how it looked when he did it. It gave me those feelings of when the Rancor grabbed the Gamorrean guard in Jabba's palace. Like, just this huge thing is still, like, smart, and at least it feels smart, the way it, like, holds things.
It feels curious.
Yes. Especially how it grabbed the first guy and, like, spun him around in the lab and everything. He's, like, figuring things out.
Yep. I mean, it's such a giant thing, and its proportions are so wild. It's almost like it's trying to figure itself out still. But it's also manipulating its world, much like a toddler. I think that I wish that it did more with its little hands. It really just kind of waved them around a little bit, and maybe that's part of, how much of a freak it was. is it didn't quite know what to do with them sometimes, or maybe down the road it would. But I loved its design. It didn't look like... So sometimes you get creatures that look like they're in constant pain. Shin Godzilla is a huge example of that. It really didn't look like it was in pain because of its situation. It just looked like it was an animal. Like, it looked better as an animal than the Indominus Rex did.
Yes. It looked like there's things wrong with it, but it doesn't know or really care.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yep.
Like, when it's walking, you can tell its legs are not... Like, it is not the right shape. You can tell that. But it just walks. It figures it out. It's been alive this long. Life finds a way. And I totally agree that even though this thing feels so monstrous, I see the natural dinosaur, like, under the beluga-ness, the blubberness of this mutation. And then when I look at the Indominus Rex or the Indoraptor, I see a movie monster. Like, way more than this thing.
Yep. This thing was just, InGen was trying and maybe screwed up just a little, but they didn't, true to their thing. They don't kill anything that they make. They just trying to study it.
If it costs that much.
Yeah, if it costs that much, you're not just going to kill it.
It's a tax write-off, don't kill it, yeah.
Right.
So in the movie, near the end, we have probably one of my favorite shots in the whole franchise now, where Dr. Loomis is waving down a helicopter, and then out of the smoke you see the helicopter in the Belugosaurus's mouth. And he chews on it, and he throws it, and he is gigantic. Later, the Belugosaurus is chasing Duncan, and fans have noted he looks a lot smaller. Now, most fans are leaving this up to Gareth Edwards' directing style, where size inconsistencies be damned. Like, who cares? If the shot looks good, make it bigger, make it smaller. However, Nick, I believe you think there might be a little more to this than just the director.
I do. So much so that actually looking at the Jurassic Park wiki, my theory is in the trivia, and I didn't put it there.
He did have this, Nick, I will say this, he was there spoiler-free. He said this the minute it happened, pretty much. He did not go find the Sunline. This was from his mind.
So, I think we have two Distortus Rexes. I think one of the early hints that you have multiples of different creatures is the Mosasaurus. It's not the same Mosasaurus. We're told it's not. It looks different. So why can't there be two Distortus Rexes? First one, the one that we see at the beginning, is young. Like 17 years go by between that scene and the events of Jurassic World Rebirth. It's gonna grow up. So I think it did. And I think that's the one that grabs the helicopter. And I think the one that we later see going after, our human characters, taking care of our villain, I think that is its child. And I think the way that it interacts with the world is a clue to that. It's still, you would think after so long that if it's going to be a creature, it's just, defend its territory, attack. It's not curious anymore. It doesn't care. That's why it bodies a helicopter. It's like, oh, the flying thing is in my territory. I'm just going to destroy a helicopter. I think that its baby gets to play with people again. And it does the exact same things that the mother did when she was younger 17 years before.
That is interesting that when he grabs the chopper, it is just a little chew and then a toss. There's not much, what am I holding? But when he is chasing Duncan, that flare is definitely, he is like, what is going on over here? Like, what is all this? And why is this guy yelling and going this way? Let me go check this out.
Yep.
And also, Duncan gets away.
Yep. That was a huge part of it.
If your theory is right, it makes me okay with that. Because I kind of wished he got eaten. I kind of wish we did have, like, a sacrifice for everyone. But if it is the baby and he's just curious, I could definitely understand that then.
I want to rewatch the film specifically for that ending with Duncan. I want to hear if there's a sound or something that is why the D-Rex leaves him alone. Because I had my theories when we got out of the theater. I had a theory, well, if it's the baby, then maybe Duncan shouting and screaming and yelling at it, which isn't something it's had happened to it before. Maybe that triggered something. Maybe it, like, backed off. Like, you're not the size, like, humans aren't the size of bears. But for certain bears, make yourself look bigger. Make yourself big and intimidating and loud. And certain animals that could body us take that and they back off. Maybe it's no different with this thing. It's never encountered something like a human that gets up and screams at it and roars and, lets it kind of know who's boss. And it's like, oh, I don't want to screw with that. And it just leaves him alone.
Maybe even the red flare is, like, reminding it of the lab. Because the lab had all that red smoke and red lights where it lived.
Potentially, yeah, if they used... Because it seems like when we see it, when Dr. Loomis is in the lab, the destroyed lab, we see it go by. And I feel like if it is a mother-child situation, then it just used the lab as its nest at that point. Mm-hmm. After it busted out because it got too big, it just used the lab as a nest.
Now, if your theory is not true, if we get, the director comes out, says something, why do you think the Belugosaurus would spare Duncan then? If it's not the baby, if it is the same one that just threw a helicopter and killed a guy in a car.
If that's the case, then I think Duncan got away from it, because we know its vision sucks. We're told a couple times, and through promotional material, that the D-Rex's vision is just trash. It's entirely possible that the moment the flare goes out, Duncan just dives. Like, he could have pulled an Alan Grant, threw the flare a little, and he goes under the water. Yep, and it can't see shit.
And it is a Rex. It is a Rex. So it makes sense if it couldn't really see things, if they're not moving and all that stuff, too. We've been talking about this movie for almost an hour. We have not really discussed the plot or the human characters. Do we want to? Or do we just keep going with the dino stuff?
I mean, like I said at the beginning, my one sentence review is it's a very human film. They do a lot to build up our actual enjoyment of the human characters. One group is a family that's just wrong place, wrong time the whole movie. And the other one is a group that's actually relatable and kind of trauma-ridden, or trauma-riddled. And it's so interesting to see them, working through that.
I definitely got to say, when it comes to Jurassic characters, a lot of these characters have been, like, mainstays in, like, my favorite movie characters ever since I was little. John Hammond, Dr. Grant. I mean, Dr. Grant came back for Jurassic Park 3. How am I not going to love him? But I have to say, I really liked Duncan, Zora, and Loomis as a trio. I thought they had really good chemistry. I think that's something people aren't bringing up enough. Like, the movie's funny when it wants to be. Like, really funny when it wants to be. Dr. Loomis has some hilarious moments. And I have to say, he is my all-time favorite character in the Jurassic franchise. I really think he is. He embodied the fan who grew up to be Dr. Grant. If that makes sense.
It does. And we even get those, we even get throwbacks to that he studied under Dr. Grant. He gets to be all of us that wanted to be part of that group. I love that Gareth Edwards continues to give us so-and-so character's worst day ever.
Yeah.
With Godzilla 2014, it is Brody's worst day. Adrian Brody's. Is his name Adrian? What's his name? It's Brody. I remember Brody.
Ford Brody.
Ford Brody's worst day ever. And this one was an entire family's worst day ever.
It's probably the dad's worst day, just dealing with the boyfriend and everything.
Oh, yeah. And I love that he throws in the line, your mother's never going to let me have you again.
You know, I thought it was kind of interesting when the boyfriend character, when he's like, no, you're right about me. I am lazy. And, like, on one hand, I didn't know if he was just a whatever character or if he was, like, in a way complex. Because, like, he does go immediately, he goes out to save the girlfriend when she falls overboard. He doesn't not help when it comes to, like, the survival stuff. He goes out and looks for where the pipes are headed when everyone rests. You know, he is just, he's an interesting guy.
He's a young man character that's not the hero archetype. He's just a guy. And it's why we don't know whether to love him or hate him, and we flip-flop so much throughout the film regarding him. He's us. He's a typical person thrust into a wild situation, and he's actually reacting like the most like any of us probably would.
He's kind of a bad boy, but he's not a bad person. He's a bad boy, but he's not a bad person.
Yes, I agree with that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to repeat.
Oh, no, you're fine. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Now, moving on from this, is there anything else? I know we kind of hopped around, and I'll do my thing, but is there anything else we wanted to say about the Belugasaurus before we move on from him?
He's the freak king.
Yeah. He is the king of the freaks, and I will say out of all of the not real dinosaurs we've been introduced to, that is my favorite. That is above the Indos, I think so.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I do like the Indoraptor. The Indominus is okay. I really like the Raptor, because like it's like, I like how Dr. Wu brought up it wasn't finished, and like you can tell it breathes kind of weird and it doesn't act right. I liked the failed, the like beta version of what it was gonna be, kind of. Now, moving on from Rebirth, where do we take this franchise, Nick? Do we do the Jurassic Seas? Do we bring the D-Rex and Muchadons back for the sequel? Do we bring Dr. Loomis back? Universal just, they asked you. What are you going to tell them?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't know where you go with where they're at now. They're never going to make another park. It'd be so dumb to make another park.
Could you do an underwater SeaWorld park thing? Or is that still...
It's too the Meg. If they do ocean stuff, it just feels like it's encroaching on the absurdity of the Meg. And I hope that they wouldn't do that, Yeah, they've got places to go with this, but I just don't know where.
It really does come down to, all right, you restarted with Rebirth. Do you continue that, or does Jurassic turn into like an anthology movie series where we're going to get different stories that slowly keep progressing like the worldview? Or do we go back? Do we go back to Dominion times and now we're going to do a story like in Utah where the raptors are out or something? I don't know either. There's a lot of possibilities and options.
There are, and it's everything's open for them. It would be interesting to see if they do more with this island, with Ile St. Hubert. If they have to go back to it for other reasons, and we can keep exploring, this crazy place with all these interesting new dinosaurs, but
do we King Kong the D-Rex? Do we King Kong the D-Rex and bring... Like, they really could. He's, like, big enough to try to... And weird enough to where I think people would want to see it, maybe. But he is ugly.
He is ugly. Poor boy. Our poor boy.
I know. He does... See, him and Dr. Loomis, if they don't come back in this sequel, I'm going to pretend they both live the happiest lives ever.
They could.
They also could come back. He doesn't die. I thought that was interesting, too. The Belugosaurus is left intact by the end of the film.
That is true, which very few of our antagonist dinosaurs are. So I think it's nice that he is just... he or they are just existing on that hellscape.
I think it's just the D-Rex and the Spino from JP3 are like the only two big bads to make it to the end.
That's true. Yeah.
Because you can argue the first movie, Rexy makes it, but she does take out the raptors right at the end, which were kind of the bigger threat.
Yeah. Those things were...
Let me ask you this. We're both unsure of where the franchise could go. Do we want it to continue? Do you want another Jurassic film?
I do. They've got to wow us. They've got to go in a direction that, we don't see coming.
I will say this did, and I know I've said this did feel like Jurassic Park 3 in many ways. We get a fan favorite killed by a new guy. The Spinosaurus is back. There's a family on an island. We're at a new island where, new things introduced. Test tube dinosaurs. A lot of Jurassic Park 3 stuff. It does feel like the modern version of that to me.
I agree.
And I'm like, do I want a modern Jurassic Park? Well, that was kind of what Jurassic World was. Do I want a modern Lost World? That's kind of what Dominion and Fallen Kingdom were. So I am in the same boat. I don't know what we do. We've retreaded ground as much as we can and it's been fine. I don't mean that as a negative at all. But I agree, it's time to really break the mold with the next one, especially when you have stuff like Primitive War coming out. It's going to be so different.
That really will be in a different direction.
Well, I think the last thing we're going to do on this episode is we are going to go through and rank the Jurassic films. We'll go bottom to top. At the bottom for me, is this 7th place? Is there 7? Yeah. Dominion. Jurassic World Dominion.
Okay.
I think it is a fine movie. I don't think it's bad, but I think it is the weakest of the Jurassic franchise.
I concur with that.
It's just it just feels like such a wet blanket almost. Like you got all the characters back and you got Owen and Dr. Grant and they barely talk about the raptor stuff. Like I think he literally is like, I know you trained raptors. Come on, we could have had the most interesting conversations that the franchise could have provided, but it's so much missed opportunity in that film.
I agree. I do agree.
Number 6 for me, I'm going to say the first Jurassic World. I love this movie. I think it's a great movie, but as time has gone by, there are elements in this I really do not like. The kid characters in this one I didn't care for. That whole just divorce subplot thing, unnecessary, not what I'm there for. It was amazing to see the park open. It was amazing to see the T-Rex back and fighting with Blue. I like Blue. I'm iffy on training raptors, but I've come to accept it. Jurassic World is going to be my number 6.
My number 6 will be Fallen Kingdom.
Ooh.
I was not invested in anything, and I think the whole human cloning aspect just fell really flat. I think they aired more for shock in that than anything else. So, yeah, my 6 is Fallen Kingdom.
Nice. My 5 is Fallen Kingdom. Now, you could almost switch this with my number 6 for me, but I believe, and even after Rebirth, I still do stand by this, I think Fallen Kingdom has the best and the worst the franchise has to offer. I think a lot of the scenes with them on the island, like Chris Pratt, like trying to escape the volcano stuff, that's so silly and like unbelievable to me. With the cloning daughter made me roll my eyes. However, I got a haunted house movie with a dinosaur. That was really good. The second half of that movie, I think, is like phenomenal. When Maisie's hiding in her bed from the raptor and it like climbs on the roof and the music's going crazy and the camera's upside down and it sneaks in. I think that's some of the best stuff we've gotten from the franchise, but it's such a mixed bag that I am going to put it at number 5 for me.
You ready for my number 5?
Oh, no. I already know
Jurassic Park 3.
No!
Jurassic Park 3 to me was an over-the-top experience. It just felt gimmicky, and I liked that we brought back, some of our tried and true characters, but fuck that Spinosaurus.
The childhood ender.
Yeah, and it didn't add much substance for me to the franchise. So it was just like I didn't get any of it.
That's amazing. You didn't like when the raptor talked? He was like, Alan.
No. And and that guy getting away from the pterodons and
it's Duncan, dude. It's what I mean. It's the modern day.
No, none of that film.
The Spinosaurus design is good, though.
It's a monster.
It's a movie monster.
Yeah, it's a movie monster. It's fantastic.
I understand. JP3 has gotten a renaissance, kind of like the prequel Star Wars did, but it will always have its haters.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
And you're valid for that. My number 4. I think this is where, now this may change with time and rewatches, but I think Jurassic World Rebirth is going at my number 4 spot as the best of the Rebirth movies. Brought me back to that Jurassic Park feel. I loved all the characters. There was not a single character I just couldn't stand. And I thought the dino action was great. I think it's a great movie. You get in, you get what you paid for, and you get out. So yeah, number 4 for me is going to be the new one, Rebirth.
My number 4 is Jurassic World. I like the direction they went. I like the new thoughts, and I like the backfilling of story with Dr. Henry Wu explaining why the dinosaurs look the way they do. I thought that was really good world crafting. But there are better Jurassic Park films than Jurassic World.
I would definitely agree with that. Moving on to my number 3, we have Jurassic Park 3. I won't lie, it does pain me to not put it in my number 2 spot, but I think the other 2 movies they're better movies. I love Jurassic Park 3 for what it is. One thing it has that really helps it is its short runtime. I think this is one of the best 90-minute dinosaur action flicks. It's very quick. You get a lot of different dinosaurs. You get a lot of different dinosaur scenes. Say anything you want about Jurassic Park 3. The raptors look incredible in that. Like the CG and the animatronics, they did a great job. And seeing Dr. Grant back made me smile and it's a comfort movie for me in a way. I can throw it on. It's not going to take all day to watch, and I'm going to get a good amount of enjoyment from it. So, number 3, Jurassic Park 3.
Okay. My number 3, Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yep.
It adds more in a different direction with a great cast of human characters than Jurassic World, and it sells the original feeling of Jurassic Park the best for me. Even better than Jurassic World did.
Jurassic World does have the awe and wonder moments when the kids are going through the park, but it just... I agree, like, it didn't hit the highs of the old Jurassic Park movies, and Rebirth, I would agree, it came close, I think. Especially when that T-Rex first roared, dude, that...
Oh, yeah.
I had flashbacks to the T-Rex breaking out almost, like, just like, oh my gosh, like, what a sound.
Yeah.
My number 2 is probably pretty predictably Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World. I love this movie. I think it's one of the best. We get one of my all-time favorite scenes where the compies get a kill, and it makes me nervous to see them every time. I know when one of the characters in Rebirth like fell down a hill and there were some compies, you and me were like, uh-oh, is this going to end badly? Or you never know, because if there's 2 of them, you're fine. If there's 20 of them, oh no.
Right.
And I loved the characters in The Lost World. The only moment I really don't like is the, like, let's kill the velociraptor with gymnastics. I thought that was cringy. But then we get a T-Rex in San Diego, so it's all good. I love that movie. I think it's one of the best movies ever made. And I'd put it right up there with the original Jurassic Park. I put it really close, so that is going to be my number 2, The Lost World.
I can understand all of that. My number 2 is the original Jurassic Park.
Whoa! Hot take alert. Hot take alert.
I think that the original is a fantastic adventure horror flick. And definitely set the stage for what dinosaur movies could be. But my number 1 took it and ramped it up to 1 million.
Well, I'll say my number 1 is the original. I think it's essentially a perfect film. I love it. I mean, what hasn't been said about that movie? Like, great special effects, amazing music, lovable characters, instantly iconic locations, even the little things, like just the way the labs are designed, or the Jeeps, all that stuff is so iconic. And I don't think I'm ever going to have a bad time watching that first movie. I was lucky enough to see it at the drive-in. We cranked up the speakers, and I remember laughing so hard when you'd hear the Rex footsteps, because the whole car was just... You just hear it throughout the whole thing, and it's Jurassic Park. How am I not going to put it at number 1? I'm curious on why you didn't. I'm actually really curious to hear why your number 1 is your number 1, but...
Sure.
You know, as expected, call me default, call me bland, but Jurassic Park is my favorite Jurassic Park movie.
And that makes sense, and that's perfectly, like, that's good. It's good. It deserves to be up there.
It got Mr. DNA.
That's true. Mr. DNA. So the reason that I like Jurassic Park, The Lost World Jurassic Park, is because it ramped things up from the original to 1,000. The horror, I felt, was worse in The Lost World, because you had things that could kill you that you'd never think could kill you. Peter Stormare getting eaten alive by Compsognathus is a scene that will live in the depths of my nightmares. You get world building with the new world. Something that I really loved from reading the book was that Muldoon does so much more in the book, in the Jurassic Park book. And Roland Tembo in The Lost World is Muldoon. Like, to a T. And it's great. So, you've got great characters, you've got a good story, and you have a Tyrannosaurus Rex running wild in San Diego. That movie goes so hard.
We are the Daikaiju and Anime podcast. I gotta mention, isn't there a scene where there's like a bunch of Japanese people running from the T-Rex, and they're like, "I left Japan to get away from."
Pretty
this.
much, yeah. They do it.
I mean, why it's the T-Rex in a city. I know it was like a last-minute addition. It's a great scene. It's iconic. It's awesome. I love when all the animal patrol and the cops show up and they see the T-Rex and they just turn around. They're like, no, I don't get paid enough.
Yep, stuff like that being over the top. There's another scene that really made me like the human characters. Like, Roland Tembo has oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember the character's name.
His assistant?
His assistant. And his assistants, don't go into the long grass. Don't go into the long grass. And it's like, what is his name? Ajay. It's Ajay.
Okay.
And when Roland learns Ajay died, there's this very touching moment where he's just like, this island has taken so goddamn much. And he got the buck, but he's still, like, he's not fulfilled by it because the island took more than he expected.
He gets offered a job by Ludlow. Ludlow tells him he's sorry, and he looks at Ludlow and he says, "I think I've spent enough time in the company of death."
Yep.
And that's when he leaves.
Oh, and Eddie Carr's death is horrifying. Is pure nightmare.
Oh my! The whole trailer segment.
The whole trailer segment is a fever dream horror.
Is a masterclass in tension.
Yep.
When she's on the glass and everything.
Yep.
Spielberg was cooking with that one.
Yep.
Well, thank you for making a journey out to the islands with me, for looking at some prehistoric creatures. Not all of them dinosaurs, but lots of prehistoric life. If you have any questions for us, want us to talk about something, want to know what we meant if we weren't clear enough, go ahead and email us at dynamepodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you. It's pretty much all I got.
I got nothing.
I think I'm going to go head out and try to wrangle some raptors. So peace out, everyone.
Stay safe. Watch out for Belugasaurus.